Once I was a crusader for the Divine Order. I pledged my life to Lucian the Divine. The war changed everything. He sent me to save the elves I grew up amongst. I arrived too late. Lucian ordered the use of death fog against the Black Ring, annihilating everyone I once knew in the process. Now I'm a mercenary killer, one of the infamous Lone Wolves. And my next target is none other than Lucian's own son.
All my life, I've been a performer, a musician, beloved and celebrated by all. But I have a secret. I'm also a playground for sprites and spirits and worse. The voice that rings inside me now is darker than any that came before. Almost caused a bunch of my fans to rip each other to pieces. But you can trust me. I've got this under control. Step 1. Find out who, or what, is trying to take control of my mind. Step 2. Make it sorry it ever tried.
I used to be a slave, kept under the thumb of the master, the bastard that made me hunt down my own kin. How did he do that, you ask? With the living scar you see on my cheek, this horror that takes no more than a song sung by Master Dearest to control my very thoughts. But now the tables have turned. I broke my shackles, and when I finally find him, I will make the Master sing a very different kind of song.
Famed, of course, for my unique red skin and unparalleled skills as a general of the House of War, I, the Red Prince, was raised within the vast palaces of the fabled Forbidden City. I was destined to become the next emperor. But my ambitions suffered a bit of a setback when I fell from grace for cavorting with demons. Now, I'm exiled and hunted by assassins. But I assure you, I remain undaunted and as determined as ever to claim my rightful throne.
was just thinking about someone I used to know. My cousin, the Queen. A tyrant. I tried to stop her, but things according to plan. She cast me out to a forgotten island. My allies, too. Lucky for me, I was able to commandeer a ship and began a new life for myself out on the high seas. Aye, but I hear that the Queen is at it again. And there's something darker behind her madcap schemes this time. If I don't stop her, I don't know who will.
Oh, don't stare. How would you look after eons in some ghastly crypt? Your people are rather prone to death. Mine are not. Yet when I emerged from my completely unjustified imprisonment, I found them gone. Our culture forgotten. Any trace of the world I knew all but obliterated. I must even hide my true face beneath an ever-shifting mask for fear you savages will attack me. That is how I wander this strange world. Trying to uncover the truth about a history you primitive people never even knew existed.
You're not trying to escape, are you?
Prepare yourself.
Greet the Reaper for me.
You're not trying to escape, are you?
Better luck next time.
I'll yield to none.
I'll yield to none.
Meet your maker.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead, I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry. The sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
So, it wasn't a dream after all. don't even remember them strapping me down. When animals die, freight or food.
Did you expect a needle? Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully, her rectangular eyes like letterboxes to the void. With one sharp hoof, she kicks you right in the shin. Did you expect a needle? The Magister Guard snorts and sniffles as he sleeps. You're almost impressed that one man can make such a phlegmy racket.
Boring.
Hey! Get me out of this cage and I'll make it worth your while. You in? Your guess is as good as mine. Someone screamed loud as a banshee. After that, pure pandemonium. They never even told me what I was accused of. Set me free, and I'll set you free. A fair trade, I should think. A gentleman among jesters, you are. Give that...
Before you can even touch the lever, you hear a sniff and snort behind you as the snoring Magister...
Wait, you're no Magister. You're a sorcerer. What are you doing here, filthy scrounger? Choose your words carefully. My fists ache to meet a new face. And it's about time too. The lads and lasses up there are getting lazy. Figures they'd send one of you sorcerers down. They can barely be chuffed to wiggle a single toe. Can't just leave the prisoner alone, though. I heard he might be the one causing trouble upstairs. That's all I needed to hear. Just don't let that caged rascal fool you. You can't trust him as far as you can throw him.
The prisoner's buoyant voice darkens as his eyes rest on yours.
Ah, freedom. Tastes better than wine. I'm nothing if not a man of my word. And I did give my word I'd set you free, lad. Say your prayers while you've breath to speak them. The halls await.
What would he have to gain by killing me? I need to keep my guard up. Junk.
Empty.
Not the most elegant solution, was it? And I'm back where I started. Nowhere to go but up.
No lesions, no trauma. It was bled by magic. Everything's spin and span. Nothing left to do, really.
Empty.
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Oh dear, I'm afraid you're a long way from home, milord. A long way from the little bells that make footmen come a-running.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those Source spells of yours? See what happens. Oh, do go on. I won't hold it against you. My, aren't we a meek little lamb? Perhaps I needn't have collared you at all, though it does look darling on you. So let's just leave it on, shall we? Because to answer your question, what this collar does is this. It makes you unable to cast Source. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's. Is he? Oh well.
A young Magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass.
Good God.
Behind the Magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does.
These smelling salts are strong stuff.
You surprised? You're one of them. You know what sorcerers are capable of? Small ones this time. Thank the gods. We'll find out who did it. Nothing to see it.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, there wouldn't be a Magister. It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, you see the evidence in front of you. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Not in here, it isn't. You let me know if you hear anything. No marks, no indications of a struggle.
Be good, you scallywags.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice, deciding fates.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
I reassure you and you shut up.
She eyes you quite seriously.
Not the future, no. But I can read the past. in flesh. One of the perks of being an elf, you see. I'm quite good at it, too. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, you lay awake thinking of someone back home. A very special someone. You were reminiscing about the things you used to do together.
She pats you on the shoulder consolingly.
There, don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell.
I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
You get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Ah, there you are. Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this loser woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical. How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though. Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
You look like my daddy. His name is Frida. He's waiting for me at home.
Do you know Losa? She's a really good singer. I'm better, though. Listen. La 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 la. You're a human, like me. That means we're friends already. My mum told me not to make friends with lizards and elves and dwarves and stuff. But I think they're okay.
Name? The Divine Order wants to know. Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy.
And I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and...
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. Now tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Oh, please. I have no interest in that. Your books are too full of it already. No. I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your god. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
The elf's face freezes for just a second before he waves his hand dismissively.
Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. We mortals do like to consider these things, do we not? Now, please, run along. I have a...
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his...
I ain't saying nothing. You one of them? A divine order loyal. They killed a sorcerer, you know. They'll hide the evidence well enough, but make no mistake.
That right. I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that? The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And?
I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
The fellow cocks his ear, listening.
That isn't anger, it's...
He cocks his ear to the other side, then smiles.
anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my breeches if I were you, mate. That's all you hear, though. Listen close. There now, just like that. Squeak! Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been traveling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. Captain, actually. And that figure...
The dwarf leans back from the table and...
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard.
He continues stroking his beard.
I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our...
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us can kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
My, we are fierce, aren't we? Not to worry. I'll soon remedy that. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook? Ah, music to my beleaguered stomach. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor? Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my... On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The very basics, then. So, 3 questions are, as per your own testimony, I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave. My slave, of course. Oh, anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once...
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your...
Never thought you'd end
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing...
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board and I...
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug. balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties. No. The dead man, Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. And I wouldn't put a man down without good reason.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's...
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The Joy, I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop... Wonder if we'll get to meet the Ringmaster himself. Easy now. I might think the same.
What are you conspiring about over there?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet.
Name?
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something...
Away with you.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his...
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
Here to register, sir. Good, good. You faring okay so far? Course I do. Seems Voidwoe can dog your heels like a shadow. That's no way to live, is it? You'll see. We're gonna help you. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
We've got this wolf on a leash now.
On edge, officer. What on earth is the matter?
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side.
I strongly suspect you know all about it. Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters.
So you admit it, then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God! The woman's mad! You there, sorcerer! Go and fetch Magister Siwan! We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts Source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
Ifan lies motionless, curled on the ground like an animal. Under his shaggy hair, you can see green... The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You can't see if he's living or dead. The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide. The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You can't see if he's living or...
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
Her hand lies limp in yours.
The dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me.
Oh! What happened? That's water.
The lizard's eyes close as he slips. Ifan lies motionless, curled. His eyes flicker open. Ifan cries out. Then his eyes fall. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor. His great... You hear a faint thud, thud.
God damn it! I need to get off this wreck, and quick!
before this thing snaps into splinters. Great gods! Something's pounding on the hull!
Through the door, and are suddenly face to face with the skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume.
No. It catches fire. It turns into must when wet.
The skeleton looks up.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book.
Yes, indeed. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed. A mask that was stolen. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools. And I will simply pluck my... Indeed. Just as I would say good day, but it seems...
The skeleton shrugged.
Damn, that doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards! Gods! By divine grace, who was that howling?
He eyes the collar circling your neck.
Another sorcerer! Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't. Some crazy banshee comes screaming through, and now we got void bugs swarming up top. Go on then. Find a place to hide.
The marking on the door was painted recently, Judging from you press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an...
Desmond! I need to get out of here now!
So much for a peaceful stroll.
Lifeboat! That means there's still a chance!
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Thank you. There's a ladder right over there. You can go straight down.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear? That's what you make man.
The Magister lies on the floor.
You can walk. Get yourself up the ladder. Wait! Void Woken!
These beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
Let the games begin.
I'm ready.
They who are about to triumph.
I thought Void Woken was supposed to be scary.
I've faced worse.
Into the dark with you.
No telling whether there might be more. We need to move.
We make a pretty good team.
Let's not tarry. This old tub is about to burst.
I hear something. It's Magister Siwan, the one who put on this damn
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem the bleeding of a gushing wound. With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth, soaked with some blood, quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. It's working. The pressure is stemming the floor. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder. Siwan struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship...
It's ripping the ship apart! This is it! If you can walk, get yourself up the ladder. There's a... Wait! Void Woken! Beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
I thought Void Woken was supposed to be scary. Glory is mine.
Let the games begin.
I've faced worse.
They who are about to triumph.
Let's head above decks for some air.
I hear something. It's Magister Siwan, the one who put on this damn collar. Sounds like she needs help.
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches with jagged move. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
Those Voidwoken make short bloody work of a ship. Am I the lone survivor? Seems someone, something wanted me alive. I thought the Order would get rid of any trace of the old Source King.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his chin, the crown of his head. He spots...
I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. Why? I guess. Well, the people who put... Are you a sorcerer? One of those guys that brings the bad void things here?
The child looks at you straight on, unafraid. So
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong. Maybe you're right. At least they don't mind where anyone goes. They know we can't leave the island, and it's a lot nicer out here than inside. They're gone now. The Magisters took them already. I guess now they're cured, but you didn't die. Guess I am. There isn't anywhere safer. You'll see.
This statue must be 1,000 years old. Wonder how much longer it'll last. It's broken.
Voidwoken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn. They've made it to shore. Bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. Drowned and eaten by a Voidwoken. I wonder in which order.
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady... Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer. Or
I did survive, yes. And chances are I wouldn't have, had you not returned to the aid of your fellow passengers down in that dreadful hole. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
Yes, I'm sure you've all the makings of a hero and all that. Nevertheless, one good turn does deserve another, so... as far... Now then, if there's nothing further... I'm sure I don't mean to sound condescending, but I had thought it quite selfish.
He sighs.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? Memories. Quite so.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few...
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see an empire. I see continents dotted with mighty cities. And shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. What do you mean, what do I mean? I mean just what I say. I had a very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? The very same. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the world. Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause. During
that said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. This and that. Taggle, on the other hand, I really could do with a dog. Fine, I accept. On one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer. One of the mystics of my kind. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. You do tend to beat around the bush, don't you? So, now that that's said, even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Very well. Onwards then to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately between courtesy and contempt.
Now, as you're aware, you'll be traveling with a prince. Proper forms of address. As your luck would have it, I seem to... Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up...
A black cat. I like cats, but I wouldn't eat a whole one.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, its eyes clear, and it...